What up, party people? All right, I'm back. It's been a minute since I made a video, but shoot, things still moving along for me. I'm starting to see miracles, and I saw a miracle last night. I was on the interstate. I was about to get off. I was crying on the interstate because God was so close to me, and I put my gospel music on, and man, I was just enjoying the ride. And I came to my exit. The Spirit said, "Keep going," and like He telling me, do what makes you happy. And you can feel it in your heart. You know, if I would have turned off, that would have been burdened responsibilities that I need to do right now. Uh, but when I kept going, my heart, instead of being burdened, it was like light, like, yeah, Lord, I'm free to keep going. So I headed on down the highway, and I'm like, how far I'm gonna go? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna go by my feelings, whatever I feel. And I came up on, I think it's exit 100, and I got off right there. I was gonna go like over to the truck stop and just buy something, and that would have been my little outing. But something said keep going, so I got off the interstate. I went to the right. The truck stop was on the left. Something again said keep going, and it said how does that feel? I'm like, it feels adventurous. That same feeling. Uh, like I'm doing something different, like exciting. So I was driving, and I was going around the little curves. I got a new sports car, so I was going around the little curves and stuff. I didn't even hit the gas, and the car just sped up going down the hill and going around curves and stuff. It was feeling so nice. And I came up to a car, and I slowed down, and I had a car turning in front of me, and then a car behind him. I was behind that car, and that car eventually turned off, and I saw a road that had some construction on it. And I'm like, okay, I remember I got a friend that lived down here, and he he told me that he sold some land to the state so that they could build the road, a bridge. And I'm like, maybe this is the bridge. So I went on up on the bridge. I know he lived on the other side of the bridge. I didn't see his house, so I pretty much forgot about it. I said, well, maybe I passed it. You know what I'm saying? I kept on going, and I came up and I saw his house. And I'm like, okay, that's where Grandma lived right there. And it hit me again. How would it be to stop, James? I'm like, that would be exciting. You know, that exciting feeling. Not really like what I, something I can do not to be burdened, to surrender my burdens. Lord, take my burdens. I was out driving, so I shouldn't have no burdens. You know what I'm saying? So I look down the road. I'm like, if there's a good place to turn around at, I'm gonna turn around. By that time, a car was behind me, and that little feeling like it'll be exciting. Go look. I'm like, he might not be at home. Uh, those crazy dogs out there just talking myself out of it like I always do. But that's my focus in my mind because we got power in our mind. Your spiritual life is no further than your mind. So now I'm trying to, every time I hear myself doubting myself or battling myself about something, I try to silence that. And you can silence it with a scripture. Uh, but the perfect spot to make a U turn, I came up to it. It was like a drive off for, I guess, the power company. So it wasn't a road, it was just a driveway. So I kind of pulled, and it was super wide too. I could just make a U turn. And I came back up on the street, and I said, well, let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said when I missed that exit. Let's see what happens. That's what happened when I got off on that exit I was telling y'all about. Let's see what happens. And I was gonna stop at the truck stop, and I looked down the road and I said, let's see what's gonna happen. So I made that. I said, let's see what's gonna happen. I made the U-turn. Then I pulled down to his driveway. I turned in, and I said, well, shoot, I would just back out now because it looked private, and the driveway long. So I drove on down, and I blew the horn a couple of times. And if he hadn't responded to the horn, I would have backed out. Uh, but he stuck his head around, and I opened the door, and I'm like, Grandma! And he knew who I was. And shoot, I pulled on up. You know what I'm saying? What's up, man? It was so good to see my boy. That's a good dude. A lot of people misunderstand my buddy, but he is a great guy. And I came on there. I'm like, where your dogs at, man? He said, they ran off. He said, I got another one. He's a puppy. He won't bite. So I came on down. And I went up the stairs, and the puppy was at the top of the stairs. He was like, rrr, rrr, at me. He told him, be quiet. I came on up the steps, and Mike is back with his ex-wife. And she is just the sweetest person in the world. But we came and we started talking about old times and stuff, and for some reason he said something like pretty much questioning God. You know what I'm saying? He was telling me a story, and I was telling him, some facts. In fact, I'm gonna make videos about some of the stuff we talked about. But it kind of changed him. I could see the change, and his wife could see the change. She said, I've been trying to talk to him for the longest. She said, he been telling me to leave, and they were having trouble. And I could not tell that they had trouble on them when I came up, you know what I'm saying? But when we sat down at a point, I could tell, okay, there's a conflict going on here. It's sort of like Mike was self-sabotaging and trying to push her away. But she said she wasn't leaving. And so we talked. You know what I should have did? I should always pray with people before I leave them. Just for that communal, you know what I'm saying? Spoken prayer like Jesus did, But we were sipping on Bud Lights too. I love my Bud Lights. Y'all know I love Bud Light. So we were sipping on our Bud Light, talking about the Spirit of God. You know what I'm saying? And he got a pretty good understanding from me of the spiritual nature of people. And the people that he's having trouble with, I let him saw that it's not a people problem. It is a people problem. It's a people problem. But it's not like your problem. It's their problem that's affecting your life. And how you react to somebody affecting your life is your problem. So that's where spiritual balance come in at. So I don't respond to stuff like that. I really don't deal with stuff like that. And if somebody came along like that, all I got to do is speak a word. Lord, put peace between us. You know what I'm saying? No matter if you have to move me or move them, peace. And let it go and watch God. And that's what I told him. I told him, man, take some donuts. Take donuts up there. Take donuts to your enemies and put them on the table. The best ones you can buy. If they don't touch them, they see their shortcoming by them not touching something that was brought to them. They still sitting there. There's a problem. Is the problem him, or is the problem you for not eating something that was brought to you? Out of love. And a lot of people say, I'm not gonna eat that mess. And if you courteous, you'll get one and go put it in the trash somewhere. Do that. You know what I'm saying? It's all dependent on you. And the thing I kind of told him about was that God is no further than we can believe. No further than we can believe. And I explained that to him thoroughly. And he got the idea, and he see that you can tell what people believe by how they act. And just how to weave your way through that. Sometimes that soft answer turns away wrath. And that's in the Bible, I think. I don't know. It's been a minute since I ran across it. But he got the understanding for that, and we started talking and just chit chatting then. And his wife went and got her Bible, and that Bible wrecked. She been through that, mama, circling and everything. And I said, y'all been praying? Mike said, he didn't pray. He said, no, I haven't. She said, I have. I'm like, okay, y'all pray. You prayed for help, huh, with your husband? She said, yeah, because he been around here telling me to get out, just all mad and mean, and keep talking about that incident. It's just ruminating thoughts. Take those thoughts captive with scriptures. Take them captive, and have a scripture for every time that thought come up. Say that scripture. I wish I could do that. My memory kind of messed up there. It takes me a long time to learn scripture, to memorize something, and it's something that happened. It's a long story, but what I say, the Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want on things that kind of bother me. Just say, if I say, man, I need some tennis shoes, man, shoot, I got to wait to Friday. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. You got a credit card? Go to the store, and don't worry about it. But Mike's wife said, yeah. She said, my daddy was like you. She said he was the sweetest person, and Mike said, yeah, he was the kindest, sweetest person ever. And shoot, she told me that her daddy knew that he was gonna pass, and he kept telling her, I'm gonna pass. I'm about to go. I'm about to go. Then I'm gonna stop right there on that story. Mike said something that he said. He asked me something about the God work side of things. He was deep. I told him that, really it's like a line. It's a dividing line. This is God's knowledge over here, and this is what we're allowed to know over here. And he immediately said, I said, if you knew this stuff over here, you would pretty much be a God yourself, and he said, and you wouldn't want to come back once you get over there. And Belinda said, she said, that's what happened to my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of way. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because he said, Mike meditates a lot. He said God was telling him, don't go there. Turn around, go back. You know what I'm saying? Go back in his meditation. And I was telling him, that by my nature, I see that some things are just God's knowledge. And what God is, what is God? What is God? Y'all listen. What is God? Okay. Somebody made a decision to give me 2 eyes instead of 1 or 3. It would have been a good idea to put one in the back of my head where I can see what's back there. But we're made perfect by decisions that were made, by an intelligence. Whatever you want. If you say, man, forget that, ain't no intelligence. Well, ain't no intelligence is your God. Whatever you believe is tied to your God. You can have the world that you want if only you believe. That sounds so familiar. Yeah, but to try to know the things of God rather than trusting the things of value in this life that we're here. We're here for a life, and God put us here for our lives, for us to enjoy and have fun, and have that joy, and have that sense of adventure. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens every day. Let's see what happens. That's why God put us here, to fulfill your wishes and desires, yours and yours only. If somebody want to come along with you, or you have to compromise with somebody you're working with, and y'all achieve dreams together, That's a couple. That's what I was talking about, that relationship orb. um, but that made me see the incident by going over there, made me see that she was in the house praying for a miracle to help her husband. And somebody just popped up saying just what she said. You said just what he needed to hear. But at first we were sitting there like, I'm like, she kept trying to say, honey, no, he's saying this, he's saying this. I said, he's not getting it, he's not getting it. And then I said, well, let's leave him alone. And me and her started talking. He kind of wanted to get back in the conversation. So I think he heard me when I said, you're not getting it. He's not getting it. And she looked and kind of shook her head. No, he's not. And he came back and tried again, and he got it. It was so beautiful to see his heart just lighten up. He smiled, he got up, and he shook my hand. Man, it was a miracle. And his wife said, I want to hug you. She ran up to me and she hugged me. She said, come on, Mike, let's hug him. And Mike got up and we all hugged and stuff. And she said, I want to hug you again. She ran up to me and hugged me again. And I told Mike, man, I love you, man. You're a good dude. I enjoyed those years sitting with you at work. That was a great experience to be in your presence. You know what I'm saying? I guess Mike's job had him feeling like he wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? By people attacking you and bothering you. And to have somebody to come along and encourage you. To say, man, you're a great guy. You know what I'm saying? I kept telling him that. You're a great guy, Mike. I love you. You know what I'm saying? And just inspired by God. Just to show love. And that was a miracle, y'all. Yep. And I can't wait to see how he turns out. My prayers are with him. I know we must have common ancestry, or me and his wife have common ancestry or something like that. They white people. I got everything mixed in my blood, and a lot of white people got everything mixed in their blood. So, but she said that was my daddy. My daddy. It was so fun. I enjoyed it. So I just had to put something else on here, and I hope people learning things from little videos I'm making and stuff. And like I said, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been on here. I was terrified. You know what I'm saying? I thought I wasn't good enough. A lot of things, a lot of hold-ups that I had in my life, hang-ups. And I'm better now. And, through the meditation and practices I've been doing, God has filled me with wisdom on the world. I'm already technically minded. So if I see something, I'm just not looking at a clock with hands on it, with the second hand that's going around. I done actually took a clock apart. And I know what's going on in it. So when I look at a clock, I might say that's an electric clock. Or that's a battery clock. You know what I'm saying? In my mind. Or, oh, that's a grandfather clock. I never took one of those apart. But I saw it on a video. There's a lot of parts in that thing. You know what I'm saying? And it all works off of gravity. Or centrifugal force. Like I said, I'm a little bit too knowledgeable. Because that's really all I was doing. Just learning different stuff. All my life. And I got to a point like just a few years ago, I'm like, you learn all this stuff. What you gonna do with all this junk, I'm like, I'm getting older, getting tired of installing and stuff like that. So shoot. But always back before, just say in my 20s, I thought about retiring. And I said, me and my wife, after we get our kids out, I wanted to probably get some foster kids or something like that, and try to instill value in them. Because I strived hard to instill value in my kids, and all of them have values. But get some foster kids and teach. And I wanted to be a teacher. That's why I said, well, that's what I can do with all of that stuff I know, teach. So this is a good way to get it out. God knew what he was doing, you know what I'm saying? So y'all stick with me. Love y'all.